Welcome guys to a new series of videos I'm going to try and make, which is basically helping out r/chess beginners with common questions and common issues that beginners have, whether it be just common answers that I generally give to people in the subreddit that I would rather just have a video on that I can show people now so I don't have to keep repeating myself, not that it's super annoying, but just that it could be helpful, and also just some like general beginner advice as well. The first thing I want to do is I want to show people how to review their games with an engine and basically see why certain moves are good and certain moves are bad. And I want to try and make this fairly quick because if people see like a 15-minute long video, they're probably not likely to want to watch it just to help them out with some chess. So, without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into it. Basically, when you get to the end of a game on chess.com, I'll be showing something on Lichess as well, but first I'm going to start with chess.com. If you want to go to a game review on chess.com, once you're on this screen here after a game, I just picked a random game I played recently, you hit this game review button, and it'll bring you to this screen. And what you can start to do from here is, well, it'll have you here under the review tab. If you want to quickly go through your game, you can start up here, and it can show you all of the key moments. It'll be your last book move, and then all of the mistakes and blunders it'll like pause on. However, what I prefer to do is just scroll through the moves in analysis on my own, because sometimes I like to look more into specifics. And if you're wondering why certain things are mistakes, you can, instead of just scrolling through the moves, maybe you don't immediately understand why taking this knight is so good, for example. Well, you can see. It says e5 is a blunder because I can take this, and then what does the engine say? Looks like it likes rook d1, pressuring this pawn. And the engine doesn't even want them to defend it. Why is that? Well, if they play here, it says that's inaccurate because now I can play c5, taking advantage of this pin. Of course, if they take, I win a queen. And looks like that's why taking the knight here is good, because I can end up winning this pawn by force because of all the pressure I get on it. But instead, I went knight b3, and that doesn't do any of that. Now this pawn can't be won by force anymore. That is why my move was a mistake. And you can do stuff like this for all of the different situations where it says something's a mistake or something's a blunder. Usually it'll be more obvious, like you hung a piece or your opponent hung a piece and you didn't take it, or something like that. But this is a slightly more complicated one, and that's okay. Because generally at my level around 1700, the blunders aren't as obvious, but it still happens. But anyways, instead I'll keep going. Moves like this is a little bit less obvious why it's a blunder. The reason why this is a blunder is more of an engine thing. I wouldn't even call this a blunder from a human perspective, but the engine thinks it's a blunder because basically it's an asshole. Don't take too much stock into it. The reason why it says this is a blunder is because they can take here and then play b5, which sacrifices a pawn, but then soon they can put their pieces behind here and play the move d5, which is generally a thing we want to stop as white against the opening that they're playing. This is a really complicated, weird thing. The engine will see stuff like this and basically call you an idiot for so-called blundering it. Don't take too much stock into it. So if you can't see just by looking at the lines why something you did is a blunder, it's okay to not understand occasionally if it's not super obvious and it's a more complicated idea like this. Especially as a beginner, like don't hit yourself over this or whatever. But anyways, as we continue the game, a couple of these are more easy to understand. Like rook c1, why is that a blunder? Well, turns out if we look at the top move of the engine right here, queen b6 is literally just a fork. Yes, 1700s make these blunders too, but they also miss it, which is funny. And then this game also kind of ends in a funny way. I go queen here to attack their knight, and they think, ooh, I'm going to counterattack your knight if you take mine. So then I attack their queen, hoping, they're going to move away. Then I'll take their knight. And they just blunder their queen. I don't know why, but they did. That's how that game ended. So that's kind of funny. So I did a game review. And that's nice. It taught me why some of the moves I made were blunders or mistakes. But what if I've already used my game review and I don't have a premium account, so I can only do one per day? Well, I have a solution for that too. So what you can do is if you're at the end of a game screen, this is just another random game of mine from a while ago. If I hit game review now, you'll see that it will tell me I cannot because I need to go premium. So okay, great. I won't do that then. Instead, what I'm going to do on this game is I'm going to hit download. I'm going to click in this PGN and I'm going to copy it. I just did Control C, copy. And then I can go to a Lichess study, and I will show you how to do that. When you're on, basically I have this Lichess study called Games, and I use it to analyze a lot of my chess.com games or other random games of my friends or whatever. And how you do this is you make a Lichess account. I'm assuming I don't have to show you how to do that. You can go under Learn, Study, and this shows you the popular studies right now. You don't have to look at that. You can if you want. You click this plus button, and it'll bring you to this. Change some settings if you want. I don't really care. I'm just going to hit start, and it'll bring you to a new chapter. Here what you can do is go under PGN, which it already, I think that's what it originally has you under anyways. Paste the game in there, hit create chapter, and look, now you have a chapter with this game as all of the moves. You can turn the engine on here and scroll through it all yourself, check stuff out, and if you want a game review, just go under here and hit request a computer analysis, and you can do that an unlimited amount of times. And next time, if you want to put a new game in here, you just do add a new chapter. You're on this screen again. You can paste a new PGN. It'll create another chapter for you. You can do an analysis on that one as well. And here it'll basically give you all the same stuff that a chess.com analysis would, except for the accuracy number. But the last point I want to make in this quick video is that the accuracy number is not something that should be paid too much attention to. The accuracy number in a review doesn't say anything about how complicated the moves are, how complicated the game was, and how hard the moves were to find. So you can have a super high accuracy game just because your opponent blundered all their pieces and then resigned. So you just made the obvious moves of taking their pieces and then they resigned. So you get like 99%. Or you can have a super complicated game that you just outplayed your opponent in. But since it's super complicated, you're not going to be finding all the engine moves. Because, like, who would? You're not a super grandmaster, I assume. Unless you are, then why are you watching this video? That's weird. But you're not going to be finding all these moves. So the engine's going to tell you you were lower accuracy, like 80%, when really you played awesome. So the final point I want to make in this video is don't pay too much attention to that accuracy number it gives you on chess.com, which of course I'm talking about this one. Oop, it's at the top here, right there. So that's why I think the fact that Lichess doesn't give that number doesn't really matter. Anyways, guys, I hope that this helped. I tried to make it pretty quick, so I was talking kind of quickly. Feel free to slow things down or ask questions in the comments on YouTube or on Reddit if you need to. Also, let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the future if this series is something that interests you. Thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.